question from the exam that people had some problem solving. So the first thing is we are going to look for this tax ID. We copy, we go to NCBI, we paste this tax ID, and we are going to look it in the protein database. Search, and we get this 11,000 result. But we are going to filter by RefSec. So the final result is this listing here, and the query that we use, and we can use again, is detailed here. We can start with this query if necessary, but you can describe it in your answer with this one, and you can use eventually a program to do it again. But right now we have here essentially what we want. We, following the question, want to have 50 of them, and we want not a summary, just the listing of the accession names. So these are the 50 first proteins of the first bacteria. We are going to select all, copy, and we'll go to protein blast, and we paste these names, these accessions. This is the input. We are going to put a name. We are going from M to A. We are not aligning two sequences. We are aligning several sequences against a database. Which database? Well, we say that we are going to look in RefSec proteins, RefSec protein. And we are going to limit to the second organism here, which is Aciditiobacillus albertensis. Now, in theory, you can look for this tax ID, but in practice, it's better to write this name, at least part of it, and let the autocomplete work for you. You write it here, Albert, and then autocomplete will give you the correct tax ID, and that guarantees that it's going to work the way we want. The other thing that we want to change here, there is a parameter that we want to change from the default. We don't want 100 sequence, we want the first. We don't have the option to take only one, so we are going to take 10 and we have to filter later. It will be ideal to get only the first one. In this case, we are not going to change anything else, and we are going to show in the next, and we blast. Now, I got the result already here, and it will look something like this. You see a result for each one of the 50. Some of them have a star, and you will quickly notice that the ones with a star are the ones that don't have any result, and if they don't have a star at the beginning, then got some result. So some of them are not matching. We are going to download them. Now, how we will download them? We have two options here. One is the text. I'm going to download text, and I'm going to open it in Excel, or in this case in Google spreadsheet. We are going to import this text file. In this case, I'm going to go to Upload. I'm going to see in my local computer, and the result is a text file. We are not going to create a new spreadsheet. We are going to replace this current one. No, let's insert a new sheet with this one. This is separated by tab. You can try automatically, but let's make it easy. We know this is tab separated, and we get this. So let me change the name here. This is M2A text. What we see here is the different columns, but there is a lot of comment here. So this is not a good method. We will have to delete all of them. The big advantage of this format is that we know the fields here. So we are going to do this, and we are going to use it later. We are going to select this cell that has the different fields, and we are going to split. For this, we go to Data, and we say split text to columns, and it automatically detected that it was separated by commas, and you get now one title in every column. That is going to be good. Now, it is much easier if we, instead of this format, we go to the BLAST output and we choose comma separated value. When you choose this one, we are going to get a file. We are going to import it again, and we will compare. The results will be the same, but it's good to compare them. Again, I go to my local folder, and I'm going to insert a new sheet, and this time is separated by comma. Here you see they're correctly separated, but we don't have any title. So to make the best of both cases, I'm going to, well, let's first change the name here. M2A, this is the one that we like. And we are going to insert an empty line where we're going to put the titles. And we go to the field that we separated now. And I will copy. I go to the new table and I paste the complete line. Now, to make it nice, I'm going to make it bold and I'm going to make it centered. And yeah, maybe we can put a title. The other thing, you can change the length here. You can double click and get the automatic width. And you can click in the corner, select everything, and then you double click and everything gets automatically good length. Now you see everything in one page. Let's select the first column, and we are going to put some decoration to make very clear that this is the title. This is also too big. We don't need to keep this part. Let's delete here. And okay, that looks much better. Now, the first thing you notice is that they are all the query and subject the same that we had before. Maybe here is easy to see. One query, one. This is perfect when we have one. But some cases you have more than one result. That is the case that we have to see. When we have more than one case, you should notice that the scores here, the bit score is the last one, is always descending, because BLAST results are always sorted from the best to the worst. So we have the guarantee that the best hit is going to be the first. So essentially we need to keep the first one. So how we are going to filter for the first one? You can do it manually, of course, but we don't want to work for the computer. We want to make the computer work for us. So I'm going to put this formula. I'm going to compare. Let me start with the second, will be easier. I'm going to compare the query ID, and I'm going to ask if is this different from the previous one, the one that is just above. And I will fill all of them. So if they are different, then it means this is the first. So this column is going to be called first. Is this the first? When they are different, is the first. When they are the same, it is false. Look at this case. We have 3 times, and the first got true and the rest got false. So, of course, this also has to be applied in the first row, and it works well because it is different from the title. So we are fine. Now we apply a filter. Here we create a new filter, and we are going to, in this case, keep only the ones that are true. So I am not going to untick the false, and this is the first result. I'm going to copy. These are the second set of proteins that we are going to look for. We go back to BLAST. We are going to reset everything here. Paste these new accessions, I choose a new name, A2M, and again I choose RefSec proteins, and this time I choose the name of the other bacteria, Methylobacterium. I select almost all, and the auto-completion gives me the correct option, so it's going to work well. And again, the only parameter that we change here, we only want the first 10. Probably will not make any difference because the database is very small. We run again, blast, and we get this result. This time we have less input proteins, and in this case all got some hit. We have to download it again, and we download as we learned the lesson. We got comma separated values. Fine. Okay, let's load them here. So I'm going to import. It takes 1 minute, a few seconds. Okay, we are going again to insert a new sheet, and I'm going to now it's separated by comma, import. Maybe automatically will detect, but I'm not taking any risk. So again, we need to add a row for the title. Maybe we don't need it, but we have it already. So let's just copy this one to the new table, copy, paste, and let's change the name here. Okay, click in the corner, double click in one of the sides, and we know what we have. Then here we only need to ask again the question if this is the first or not. So yeah, it's easy. We can just go back to the previous previous query, and we copy the formula. Formula is going to be the same. It's going to adapt. You remember in Excel and in Google Sheets, when you copy a formula, the address gets updated. I put myself in the corner, I can pull down, or even better, I can double click in that corner and will fill automatically everything. What else we need here? We need to filter only the new ones. So filter, and we drop the false and say okay. This is our result. No, we are going to put this in the result page. I'm going to call this one result. Here is where we're going to get the real result. Let's copy. I'm going to copy first these two columns. And now I'm going to copy the other from the other table, also the first two columns. But I'm going to be careful with the names here. I'm going to keep one line empty. It will be better. Maybe more. Let's keep two lines empty. Okay, so yeah, we are going to need another one. But let's see. This is going to be M1, A1, and this is A2, and this is M2. What we want to know is this first result say that protein this 154 is going to match 315, and we want to see if 315 match to 154. We can do it manually. We can, for example, just copy this here one by one and go case by case, essentially copying if this number is equal to this one. But we don't want to work from the computer, we want to make the computer work for us. So for this, we are going to use some of the tools that everybody should know. First, we are going to find in which row we can find this protein in this table. For this, we use the command match that we will find in your proper language. What is the key that we are going to look is this value. Then where are we going to find in this value? And there is a last option. What is the type? The type, let's put 0, probably is the default. And we fill, and it's something funny happened here. We got an A. Why this is happening? This is super important because I realize that people don't know. When you copy a formula in Excel, please look here, all the index get updated. But in this case, it's not what we want, because what is happening here is that this value is being looked outside the block where we are looking for is changing, and we don't want. We want to change B7, the 7 should change, but we don't want to change the block here. So how we do this? The key is to put a $sign. When you put a $sign, that coordinate doesn't change when you copy. The formula has the same meaning, it only changes the behavior when it's copied. I do it quickly, pressing F4, the function key 4. Now I copy again, and now it works as we expect. You see, B is updated, but the E2 to E23 is fixed. Now, there is something that you should notice. This looks very straightforward, but there is one case, that is the case that we want to focus here. The 17, these two proteins are matching to, in M, are matching to the same protein in A. So this is going to be a problem. Both go to the same place, but the protein in the other side will come back only with one result. So how we are going to find it? The second tool that you need to know is called index. Index take a reference, which in this case will be the place we are going to look this column, and I'm going to fix it using F4, and I'm going to take the row number here. Column we don't need because it's only one column, and we will fill, and here is the search was done automatically for us, so this should be A2, no, M2 is the corresponding M2. Let's add an additional column here to make it easier to read. Now, the remaining question is this. When you go from M1 to A1 and then from A to M2, do you get the same? In other words, here is the question. Is this the best bidirectional hit? Is this value that you started the same, is equal to the one that you get at the end? Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's false. When it's false, this is not the best bidirectional hit. In particular, for example, the 17 got two answers. One is true, one is false. Here, for example, this protein goes to this one, but when it comes back, it doesn't come back to the same. So we are going to filter by this column. So let's make a filter. And we just take the true. This is our answer. This is what you have to put in your answer. These are the best bidirectional hits in the first 50.